Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Ask a Car Guy. And this week, this is all about you. And so we decided that we would take some questions from some of our viewers. And so Karen in Rock Hill writes, hey, dear car guy, how do I purchase a car with less than perfect credit? So Karen, we hear you, we understand you. So on this episode coming up, we've got the top 4 things to know to buy a car with less than perfect credit, using Karen's words. So coming up next. All right, welcome back to Ask a Car Guy. And make sure you watch this video until the end so that you can find out how you can receive up to $1,000 off of the purchase of your next vehicle from some local dealers in your area. So again, this episode is all about you, the viewers. And so Karen asked again, dear car guy, how do I purchase a vehicle with less than perfect credit? So listen, I want you to know, Karen, and those of you out there, more than, I would say more than 50% of Americans have less than perfect credit. And so a lot of things can play a factor into slow credit, or some of you even have no credit at all. Those students, shout out to those students who are coming fresh out of college. And so you want to try to find a way to purchase the next vehicle. We know how important new vehicles are, getting you back and forth to work and getting your children back and forth to basketball practices and other things, and heck, just even taking a vacation. So we know how important this is, and it's kind of hard to live today unless you want to drive Uber or Lyft everywhere you go. But so we want to try to find the best way to get you into a vehicle. And so there are certain things that you've got to know before you go onto any car dealer lot just to help you out. And so there are dealers out there who won't allow your past to become your future. And so we want to give you a couple really good tips to utilize when going out. And I even have a bonus tip at the end. So let's get into tip number 1. Find a dealer with flexible credit requirements. Man, I cannot stress this enough of how important it is to find the right dealer. And not every dealer out there offers what they call special financing. You know, when you have bad credit, the most difficult thing there is, obviously, is to find a lender. And so what you want to look for is, one, you've got to know your credit and be honest about what your credit looks like, okay? Don't play around. Don't say, hey, I think it's okay. You've got to know your credit score. And there are plenty of free resources out there that you can utilize. And I don't have to list all of those here unless they become a sponsor of the show. Check out some of these free resources so you kind of get a scope of what your credit is like. And then that way, when you're going on to a car lot, you're not wasting the dealer or the salesperson's time, and neither are you wasting your time either. So know your credit score. But here's what you're looking for. You're looking for signs that may say on the lot financing, buy here, pay here, or special financing available. So these are all very different terms though. So typically, financing available just simply means that they work with lenders who may work with clients with less than perfect credit, slow credit, or no credit at all. And so there are tons of companies out there that offer that. And then if that's not an option for you, also look for companies who offer buy here, pay here. That means that that dealer is basically going to finance that vehicle for you. Now, granted, be prepared because they're taking a pretty big risk on you. And so know that there may be other requirements involved, but look for a lender or look for a dealer that can help you with that. And if you look around, I'm sure you can find those lenders that will work with you. So tip number 1, find a dealer with flexible credit requirements. All right, tip number 2, guys, select the vehicle within your budget. Man, I can't stress this enough. You can't have champagne taste and beer money, right? So when you go onto the lot and you find a vehicle, understand that there are going to be some other fees that may come along with this thing. You've got insurance to think about. You've got extended warranty, gap insurance. All of these other things play a major role. And if you step outside of your budget that you set up prior to going onto the lot and you overextend yourself, man, that's a surefire way of getting yourself right back into the same hole and not being able to make those payments on time and struggling to reestablish and rebuild your credit. So very important that you look at a couple different things. Don't be as concerned about wants more than you are about needs. What do you need? Do you need a four-door because you got children and you need a sedan in order to get around? Do you need a minivan? Do you need a pickup truck because this allows you to get your job done and get your work done? So please, I cannot stress this enough, be on point about what your wants are versus what your needs are. You need to select a vehicle that's within your budget that will accommodate the needs of you as a new car owner. So tip number 2, select a vehicle within your budget and make sure that you have a solid budget before you head over to the lot. All right, tip number 3, make a down payment or bring in a trade. Guys, this is so important, right? Because you're trying to reestablish yourself, and especially if you've had some credit challenges along the way. The idea of going in and purchasing a new vehicle with zero money down, those days unfortunately are gone, right? So be prepared that you're gonna have to put a down payment down. Typically with most special finance lenders, and not even including those who offer buy here, pay here, know that you're gonna be in the range of somewhere between 10 to 20% down payment. And that can come in the form of cash, or that can become in the form of a trade-in. So know that you're going to be somewhere in that window. So if you're looking at a $10,000 vehicle, know that you're going to need to put somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 down. I know that you may think that this is a little high, but remember, that lender is taking a big chance, and so they want to try to recoup as much of that money back as possible. And what this also does is that lowers the amount that you're actually borrowing from the lender. And so with that being said, you're borrowing a lower amount, so therefore your payments are going to be lower, and you can get yourself back on track as soon as possible, and at least show a good opportunity to pay this loan back, pay it on time. So remember, make a down payment and be prepared to make a down payment before you come on the lot. And again, that can be used in the form of cash or a decent trade-in. Tip number 4, and man, I cannot stress this enough. This is probably the most important tip, right? Pay your auto loan on time every time. So you've got a lender that's willing to work with you. You've got financing set up. You've got the down payment. You're in your new vehicle. And so the best thing that you can do is pay for that vehicle on time every time. You know, if you do this, and we talked about wants and needs earlier, right? Now you do this, you get the car that you need, you make those payments on time, 6 months to a year, and then you can trade out of that vehicle into a vehicle that you absolutely want. And that way you can get the dream vehicle that you want. You've reestablished your credit. And so it's very important that you take this seriously, especially when a lender has taken the opportunity to give you a second chance. So again, there are lenders out there who want to work with you, and they don't believe that your past situation has to be your permanent future. But you've got to do your part in making sure that you make those payments on time every time. So last tip and most important tip, pay your auto loan on time every time. Stay tuned for my 5th bonus tip coming up next. All right, guys, this is my bonus tip, okay? If you're ready to get started right now, be prepared when you go on the lot. So there are a couple things that you're going to need. You're going to need your most two recent pay stubs, okay? It's very important. What they're looking for, most lenders are going to look for year to date. They want to make sure that the income lines up with what they put down in the application when they submit it to a lender. So make sure that you bring your 2 most current paycheck stubs. Also, that will include if you get disability, if you get child support, alimony, any of those things. Make sure that you bring court-ordered information. So if you're getting alimony or child support, it needs to be court-ordered. And so you need to bring in either a divorce decree or something from the state your awards letter from the state if you're receiving Social Security benefits. But bring that information, show that we can see your income. Also bring a utility bill with your name on it, something that's been mailed to you, preferably water bill, light bill, gas bill, something of that sort. But some lenders will actually accept insurance or cell phone bills. So make sure that you bring a piece of mail, preferably a utility bill that has your name on it. And then last but not least, bring references. A lot of special financing lenders will ask up to 5 references, and these are 5 references that don't live with you. And so you need to have their name, address, telephone number, and email address available to you prior to getting there. So again, this is my like bonus tips so that you'll be ready to get started on your way to purchasing a new vehicle and actually just changing your life with a new vehicle. So these are the 5 tips. So thank you again for joining another incredible episode of Ask a Car Guy. Keep those questions coming. You can find us on all forms of social media at Ask a Car Guy. And we look forward to seeing you on the very next episode. Thanks.